Oh, wow. What the hell? It's like a cable. What? Kolink have sent me over a pack of Haribos. Whoa! This is sick as f. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another GeekaWhat video. Now, here on the channel, we very commonly receive lots of deliveries in a week of weird, wacky, and wonderful tech products, components, all that sort of stuff. And this week, I've got a bit of a feeling we might have a couple of things to do with the brand new Intel 12th Gen launch, more specifically, some Z690 motherboards. So I figured today to do something a bit different, I'd unbox all of the tech that we've ordered in a week, and also give you guys a bit of a preview of the Z690 boards, why you should care, the cool features that we didn't have before, all of that sort of stuff. Now, I think we'll start off with the smallest parcel of the bunch. This one has some Asus tape on, so I'm guessing it's been sent out by Asus, alongside this big black box, which we will come back to later. I've gone ahead and picked up my trusty GeekaWhat blue scissors. Always cut away from you folks. That is very important as far as health and safety messages here on the channel go. I actually don't know what's in this. I think the black box is Z690, but I guess we're gonna find out. Oh, no, I wasn't expecting this. This wasn't the oh, there's two. Oh, there's two motherboards in here. Oh, this is fantastic. So here we actually have our first two Z690 motherboards. I'd planned to do this later in the video, but never mind. This is the Asus Prime Z690 Prime board. So this is one of their more value-oriented boards, and it often works good with a white color scheme because of the silver accents. We'll come back to that. And then we've also got this Asus ROG ITX board. So this is your mini ITX Republic of Gamers design. It's crammed with lots of features in a super small form factor. And interestingly, gives us an insight into some of the big 12th gen features. Not only do we have DDR5 support, I'm hoping there's some DDR5 memory in one of these boxes. Support for Windows 11, Wi-Fi 6E. I'm really intrigued to see what the I/O looks like on the rear of these boards, because that often gives us an indication of the kind of feature set that you get with those chips. Do boards have Thunderbolt on? Do they have 10 gig Ethernet? How many USB-C ports do they have? All that really important stuff. I think I'll wait to take these out of the box until we've opened our big Asus ROG unboxing kit. But first, let's do things one at a time, like a kid at Christmas, and see what is in this box. I have noticed something already. The wonderful people at Kolink have sent me over a pack of Haribos with my order of a couple of power supplies. Now, we're working with Kolink on a couple of build guides. These are available online at various retailers, including over at eBuyer, which I'll link below. This is a 700 watt power supply. That looks pretty good. 80 plus gold as well, making it super efficient. And I'm guessing it's fully modular. We also have another 700 watt unit, but this one is RGB. You know, here on the channel, I love a bit of RGB. And actually, rather than just the fan being RGB, the whole side is RGB. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, one of the biggest problems we have here is deliveries. If we do like 2 build videos a week, that's 14 components a week. And yes, we do reuse them from time to time, but it's a lot of boxes. So these look quite good though, and we will of course check these out in more detail in the dedicated Kolink build guides that should be with you in the next few weeks, hopefully just in time for the holiday season. Now, this next box is our big Asus unboxing kit from what I gather. The lovely people over at Asus here in the UK have been very kind and sent us over a whole kind of unboxing experience, which is very exciting. Now, to do this, I think I'm going to clear the table off a bit, because this already looks absolutely incredible. Like, look at this. Oh, what on earth? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What on earth? This might be the most insane motherboard unboxing I think we have ever done here on the channel. This is mental. Whoa, look at this. Oh my goodness, this is so sick. Oh, wow. Okay, so straight away at the top here, we've got the Maximus Z690 Hero. Interestingly, they've removed the Roman numerals, which I think makes sense, actually, because at the end of the day, this is the Maximus Hero board for Z690. So adding numbers probably just confuses matter. But wait, there's more. So there is more in this box. I've not got a clue, genuinely. Asus just said, we can send you some of the boards to take a look at, and we're going to do a dedicated video comparing all the different Z690 models, like a buyer's guide sort of thing. So, okay, there's more. Look inside. Whoa, what on earth? Oh my goodness. Oh, hello. Whoa, there's a cooler. I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking maybe like some memory or something along those lines, but okay, this, Asus have just nicest. This is their, I can never pronounce this, Ryujin, I think someone told me, but with the LGA 1700 socket support. So that's the socket that you actually use for these Intel boards. Now, we'll feature this cooler in a video, but I think you guys are probably more interested in taking a look at the boards themselves. So let's do that for now. The first thing that stands out to me is the size of the socket. This 1700 socket definitely feels bigger. Oh, it's got a different mechanism as well. I have no idea how that works. So normally with Intel, you just pull the arm up and the whole socket kind of comes out, but oh, whoa. So it actually comes out from the top, kind of like not a Threadripper socket, because obviously that uses like bolts and all that sort of mental stuff. Oh, so I don't know if you can see, let's get a nice close angle of that actuation mechanism just at the top where my finger is. That's really interesting. So it actually pushes down, the arm itself pushes down on the socket. That's very interesting. So then we've got our PCIe slot. So PCI, what the hell? There's like a cable. What? There's like a cable on the PCIe retention clip. I have got no idea what that's for. I'm going to have to read the manual or email Asus or something because this is mental. These look like PCIe covers for our Gen 4 SSDs. We have, of course, got PCIe Gen 5 support on this board, though, so that's kind of mental. Lots and lots of overclocking headroom by the looks of the cooling on the VRMs. Nice to see. I have no idea what this thing is. What's this? Whoa! No way. So if you clip your graphics card in, this is sick as f***. So if you clip your graphics card in and the thing comes up and then you want to, like, you've had it before where you're trying to get the graphics card out and you're trying to push this down with a screwdriver and it just breaks it. Not anymore. Press this button and it releases the GPU. That is insane. Okay, interesting. So we've still got our USB 3.0 standard headers. Still got 6 SATA data cables as well. USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C port. And then let's have a look at this I/O at the rear. So we've got our standard audio connections. We've got Wi-Fi 6E for really, really good Wi-Fi bandwidth, like 2 gigabits a second or something stupid. 6 10 gigabit USB Type-A ports, a 10 gigabit USB Type-C port, 2 Thunderbolt ports. So what's that, like 40 gigabits, I think, nowadays? Thunderbolt, of course, is amazing, but it is Intel exclusive. So that's something that you have to go for an Intel chipset to actually get, and likely need to go for Z690 as the lower chipsets probably won't include that. 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, no 10 gig Ethernet. Maybe would have liked to have seen that on this high-end board, but granted, most people, even with like gigabit connections to the house, don't need 10 gig internet on the board. Another USB port. This looks like maybe like a charging port of some description. Port for your BIOS, and then a single HDMI. So obviously, the Intel chips have a tendency to have graphics on board, unless of course they have the little F designation at the end, and then BIOS flashbacks at the top. So a pretty decent I/O. Nothing particularly massively has changed on that front, but of course the big changes with 12th gen come in the sense of DDR5 memory, PCIe Gen 5, and of course those new CPUs, which hopefully provide massive performance gains, but obviously we'll have to wait for the day one reviews and stuff like that to actually figure that out. I am in love with this like retention mechanism though for the graphics card. That's awesome. Once again, I have a little bit of an idea of what could be in this box, but we have ordered multiple items from this manufacturer, so I don't want to take a stab in the dark and guess and get it wrong. So let's wait and see what's inside. I believe this is definitely a component for a future build video that we're looking to put together. Okay, I was wrong actually. I thought it was going to be a graphics card. It's not a graphics card. It is actually another Z690 motherboard. This is from GeekaWhat Aorus, so this is going to be really interesting. This is their master board. So I'd be very intrigued actually to see how this compares to the Asus ones. Let me take a look. This video wasn't intended to be some sort of motherboard showdown, but that's maybe what it's turned into. This is really heavy. Like, this is so heavy. So the socket's obviously the same because it's the same Intel socket. And the I/O is the bit I'm interested in. So on this board, we have got 10 gigabit Ethernet, though Aorus tend to do that on their master SKU anyway, and you can go slightly higher end on Asus, so it's not a completely apples to apples comparison. You still get a couple of Type-Cs. This board doesn't have Thunderbolt on though, so that's very interesting. Aorus have opted not to go for Thunderbolt, probably due to cost, I would imagine. So that's something you definitely get on the Asus board that you don't on this, but on this one, you do get 10 gigabit Ethernet. Although you only get one port. Normally when you have 10 gig, you then have like a 2.5 as well, or a 1 gig, better for compatibility, but I shall not be the judge in that respect. This board does look quite light on USB-Cs as well. A lot of USB-As. Not sure if I'm a huge fan of that just yet. Some of these are red. I'm not actually sure what that means. Might be to do with bandwidth, might be to do with like power of the port, something like that. This one does have a Wi-Fi 6 as well, I believe, so you should get that great Wi-Fi connection, BIOS flashback, and of course all those heat sinks. Maybe the overclocking on this board will be slightly better. Obviously only time will tell, and we can't cover off the performance of the boards just yet, otherwise we're going to get in trouble with the non-disclosure agreement that we have signed. I really like the design though. This feels super premium. Once again, you've got two USB 3 standard Type A headers, USB 3 Type C, so 3.1 Gen 2. Yeah, otherwise looks pretty good. 6 SATA ports, similar layout as far as fan headers, power goes. The Asus board had an auxiliary 6-pin PCI power connector for more overclocking. This one doesn't, but that's not to say it'll be any worse at overclocking. It's just something to bear in mind. Interestingly as well, and I'm not sure whether I'm a fan of this or not, you've got the standard PCI connector at the top, then you've got 2 at the bottom. So unless there's some X1 lanes hidden under this heat shield, which I can't imagine there will be, this maybe is a little bit more restrictive on expansion slots, because obviously if you've got a graphics card in the top, you couldn't then put another 2 slot and then a 1 slot because it'd be in the way. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about that on an ATX board, but I will hold my judgment out until we've properly gone ahead and taken off all the heat sinks and really explored the board. Lots and lots of this shielding at the back as well, like this big back plate to protect the board, makes it feel so premium. Really, really nice board actually, and I'm a bit torn. I think at the moment my allegiances are somewhat in the Asus camp, but the 10 gig Ethernet on this is a huge selling point for me and is winning me over by the second. But anyway, that's another Z690 for real this time. We've got more things to open. The next thing on said list is this. Now this here is a box of Elgato's wave panels, and they're very kindly sent out, not 1 box, not 2 boxes, but three boxes of wave panels. So big shout out to Elgato. We're looking to soundproof the office a little bit more, and we're nearly done as far as like interior design goes. We recently put these nano leaves up, and we'll be featuring these in more detail in a dedicated kind of office upgrade / updated tour video. But these are actually something that I've seen when I've gone up to eBuyer and was really, really impressed with them. Acoustic panels have a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a rip-off. They're too thin, they don't actually do anything, and oftentimes they don't look very good either. You're like meant to stick them on the wall with like this aerosol adhesive. It's just rubbish. So hopefully these from Elgato are a bit different. You get these quite cool frames that you basically clip around the panel. The panels themselves are massive and super thick as well. So the fact that we've got 3 boxes, which I think equates to about 18 panels, is insane. In fact, the panels start about here and go to here. So 6 panels is that thick. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, you get 3 wave panels of design A and 3 wave panels of design B to make some really, really cool patterns. Kind of like Nanoleaf, but for wave panels. And they stick on the wall with like a command strip style. It says Tessa adhesive strips. So basically like command strips where you should be able to put them on the wall, take the panels off, and you shouldn't take the paint off. In theory, obviously it depends on what kind of paint and stuff you've got. Nice. Really, really appreciate Elgato sending these out. I appreciate it's not our normal realm of stuff, shall we say. But we're trying to spice things up on the channel, trying to do things a little bit differently at the moment. Now, there's a couple more things I want to mention before I round off the video. These are a little bit large to unbox right now, and you'll have to keep your eyes peeled. The dedicated build's coming very soon. But we've got a Kolink Citadel Glass SE case and a Kolink Unity Code X. The Unity Code X is one I'm really excited about. Kind of got a Lee & Lee O11D style inspired design in the fact that it's very cuboidic. I don't know if that's a word, but if it is a word, it's very cuboidic, which could really lend itself to a very unique build indeed. Both of those are quite big on the RGB front as well, which we like. Otherwise though, I think that's pretty much it. We've looked at power supplies, we've looked at 4 Z690 motherboards, some wave panels, lots of stuff in today's video, and it's now time for me to take all of this out to the recycling, which is going to be very, very fun. In fact, I want to show you the box that Corsair sent us stuff in this week, on the basis that it is actually larger than me. A big shout out to the brands for helping us out with the products for some really exciting future videos. If you enjoyed this one though, make sure to get subscribed because we'll have more detailed content on all the products featured. Thanks for tuning in though, and as always, we'll see you in the next GeekaWhat video.